second largest city in Northern Ireland and the fifth largest city on the island of Ireland. The old walled city lies on the west bank of the River Foyle, which is spanned by 2 road bridges and 1 footbridge. The city now covers Banks, Cityside on the west and Waterside on the east. The population of the Derry urban area has a total of 90,736 people. The district administered by Derry City and Strabane District Council contains both Londonderry Port and City of Derry Airport. Hello, I'm John and welcome to my YouTube channel, John's Box, and for the second edition proper of the 10 largest cities outside England, UK cities I mean, their pros and cons, so what's good about them and what's bad about them. And today it's the turn of Derry, or Londonderry if you like, or other names, in Northern Ireland with a population of over 83,000, although if you take the wider area it's over 100,000. Derry has had city status for over 400 years, as you can see. The first granted back in 1604 by James I. The present status, however, is a result of a second charter granted in 1613 as part of the plantation of Ulster. So, first of all, but I ought to add here that I've never been to the island of Ireland, so therefore I've never been to Derry or Londonderry, and all the information I've got on the pluses and minuses are from Uncle Google. So let's hope they're all true. We're also going to look at some fun facts. So sit back and relax and enjoy what you see. Derry is one of the finest walled cities in Europe and is the only remaining completely walled city in Ireland. And it is these walls that are the city's most famous attraction. They were built in the 17th century as a defence structure by the Irish Society for the English and Scottish settlers. You can imagine that these walls hide an incredible amount of history. Today, you can truly relive a little bit of that history by following the walkway that the walls form around the inner city. You will come across plenty of points of interest along the city walls, including the cannons that were actually used in the famous siege of Derry. This city is one of the best places to visit in Northern Ireland if you are a foodie. Something to be relished is that local restaurants put a lot of emphasis in the quality of the ingredients used in their dishes. But not only that, there is a consistent focus on sourcing local ingredients as much as possible. Some of the menus even give details of what farm the meat and vegetables are from, something that every restaurant should aim for. Some good restaurants are the Walled City Brewery and Brickworks for great food and a relaxed atmosphere, and Brown's for more of a fine dining experience. For decades, Derry was at the centre of the conflict known as the Troubles. The city has come a long way since then, and part of the healing process was to set up the Museum of Free Derry. This museum is a must-visit in the city, with poignant exhibitions of Derry's recent past. It tells the story of what happened in the city during the period of 1968 to 1972, popularly known as Free Derry, and it includes the Civil Rights era, Battle of the Bogside, and Bloody Sunday. It is by no means a political museum, but rather an educational project that very successfully puts Derry into a wider Irish and international context. There's even a whole street illustrating Derry's recent history. During the Troubles, there was one particular event that marked the city. In 1972, Bloody Sunday took place when British soldiers shot 28 civilians during a peaceful civil rights march. These events have been depicted on a total of 12 large-scale murals along the entire length of Roseville Street in the Bogside.
The murals were painted by the Bogside Artists, a group of free local mural painters. They called this collection of murals the People's Gallery, which also includes work that demonstrates how far the communities in Derry have come to build bridges. There is certainly an air of optimism about the future in this city. Blink and you miss it. The Craft Village is a hidden treasure trove, giving visitors a glimpse at one of the most beguiling quarters located just outside its 17th century city walls. Coveted by those in the know, the village is situated off the beaten track, offering escapism from the bustling city centre streets, where shoppers pound pavements in the hunt for a bargain or two. When you step inside the Craft Village, you'll be bowled over, not just by the sense of tranquility around you, but by its sheer beauty, mesmerising charm, and the knowledge that you have quite possibly stumbled upon the jewel in Derry or Londonderry's crown. The Craft Village is home to many bespoke crafters, including the Wall City Crafters and Number 19, knitfield by Adele McBride, an established knitwear designer who specialises in Aran designs among many more. If you're a fan of the hit TV comedy Derry Girls, then Londonderry City is the place to experience all things Derry Girls. The rip-roaring comedy set in the 90s follows the lives of 5 teenagers as they navigate their way through their teenage years amidst the backdrop of the Troubles. Written by Derry Girls' Lisa McGee, the first series was broadcast on Channel 4 in January and February 2018. The second series was aired in March and April 2019, and the third series aired in 2022. There are Derry Girls tours available in order to visit all the iconic screen locations in which the popular sitcom was filmed, and even get your selfie taken outside the Derry Girls mural in the city. It has more names than anywhere else in the universe. Derry, Londonderry, Legendary, Dwyer, the Maiden City, Stroke City, the Walled City, and more. Even people who live there don't know what to call it without starting an argument. A whopping 92% of divorces in the city start over disagreements about where they live. The first famous woman pilot was Amelia Earhart. This woman made her first solo transatlantic flight by landing just outside the farmland in Derry. Derry has recently been rated the ugliest place to live in the UK in a new study. The research analysed the number of boutique hotels, listed buildings and monuments, interior designers and architects in each UK destination to reveal where each location ranked on the beauty scale. Explaining why Derry ranked as the ugliest city, the research said, "This Northern Irish city lands itself with the unfortunate title of the least aesthetic city. It takes last place in our index with a score of 1.79 out of 10, thanks to it having the lowest proportion of interior designers on the list, who play an important role in creating and curating the city's aesthetic. It's also in the bottom 3 for its proportion of both architects, listed buildings, and monuments." When it comes to jobs, Derry is a statistical outlier, having suffered from the highest unemployment of any city in the UK for years, with more than twice that of the Irish average. Foyle is the only Northern Ireland constituency to feature in the UK's top 10, not just for its percentage of unemployed, but also for youth claimants and the total number of people on the dole. The city also has the highest rates of both male and female unemployment, with barely over half of its population in employment and a staggering 2/3 of the city's jobless counted for men. Derry clearly has an unemployment problem. Of the 15 towns and cities on the island of Ireland, which offers higher education provision, Derry has by far the lowest. The city's 4,000 higher education places amount to less than 4% of Derry's population, whilst more than 80% of all higher education places provided in Northern Ireland are located in Belfast. The comparative figure for Dublin's share within the Republic is only 43%. Derry was famously overlooked as the location for Northern Ireland's second university in 1966, in a decision that even the city's unionist MP at the time condemned as sectarian. For half a century since, Derry has campaigned in vain to secure a university that is appropriate for the fourth biggest city on the island. Despite property being so cheap in Derry, the city has the lowest home ownership in the UK, 46% versus a Northern Ireland average of 62%, and above average levels of social housing, 19% versus 16.5% across Northern Ireland. Derry's housing market is merely a symptom and a reflection of the economic difficulties that the city faces overall, but provides a helpful bellwether of its relative standing. Industrialisation triggered a migration of labour into Derry from surrounding areas at the turn of the 20th century, with a significant impact on the city's demographics. By the 1960s, 2/3 of Derry's population was Catholic, and the Unionist Party was alarmed at the prospect of losing a city that held a central place in the Protestant psyche. It responded at a local level with gerrymandering to ensure the council remained in Unionist hands, and at a Stormont level by stifling the city's developments to stop the growth of its Catholic population. A period of chronic underinvestment in the city therefore followed, in which the basic tools Derry needed to prosper, i.e. infrastructure, skills and employment, were largely denied it, with economic investment heavily skewed towards the east of the Barn instead. In summary, there's a lot going for the city and people, especially the locals, who are willing to do everything to promote the city. Whilst further evidence abounds to prove that Derry is the UK and Northern Ireland's economic problem child, the above should provide sufficient proof that the city does indeed suffer from a cocktail of high unemployment, high deprivation, low qualifications, low wages, low home ownership, low entrepreneurship, and a high dependency upon a public sector employment, all of which anchors it at the bottom of the pile of Northern Ireland. And while post-Troubles Northern Ireland as a whole continues to converge with the rest of the UK on many economic indicators, it is leaving its own second city firmly behind as it does so. Stormont, we have a problem.
So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for sticking with me all the way through those 10 minutes or so. I welcome your feedback, particularly if you live in Northern Ireland or in the city itself. They say the best content is the comments, the feedback. That tells the perhaps real story of what the city in this case is like. Last time in November we looked at Inverness. Next time we're going to go to Wales, to the city of Newport. We're going to do 2 in a row, so you don't have to wait a few months for the next edition. The next edition will be, I hope, by the end of this month. But I think if not, then it's going to be at the beginning of the following month. So that's it for today. Thank you once again for being here, and I'll see you again in another video on John's Box. Bye for now. Bye-bye.